And he's the founder and executive director of Power and Future. This is a 501c4 which aims to protect America's energy workers. Thank you. I love you for that. Frankie, the waiter came bringing one drink, the next drink. He didn't even flinch, this guy. Huh? It must have been the balance of nature. I'm telling you.
Lent is tomorrow.
Lent is, yeah. Oh, and you're going to try?
Absolutely.
Do you happen to be of a Catholic faith there, Daniel? Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Born and raised.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
So you're giving up for Lent?
I try to always give up smoking.
Cigarettes.
Which is good.
Yeah,
I like my cigarettes. I'm not going to lie.
Wow, man.
And I'll try to give up alcohol, but I won't last till Friday.
Frankie does good.
He's going to give up greenhouse gas emissions.
It is good. It's a Green New Deal, man. I mean, is it got anything of value? Is it just rhetoric? And you know what's scary? The legs that this thing has had.
Oh, yeah. It's got tremendous appeal. But once you dig into it, you realize how untenable it is. And even the Democrat leadership has made fun of it. So Speaker Pelosi dismissed it, Dick Durbin, because they realize this is a toxic piece of legislation. It's an absolute disaster. It's being made fun of by most serious people.
Yeah, so in AOC, we were talking off the air, and I decided, because people say, oh, Joe, don't fall for AOC. Don't think, your cute little friend like that, they start busting my chops, because I said she was great. And I realized what it was overnight. I was thinking about it. She has the same thing Barack Obama had: swagger and star power, star quality. She's got that. And like you said, she's got the confidence. But when she says something, you and I go, what? What was that? What was that? Has absolutely no substance or irrelevant nature to anything in our lives. But boy, she could deliver it in a brilliant way. This is dangerous.
Absolutely. And she appeals to a young generation. And look, you got to give her a lot of credit.
Yeah.
She knocked off Joe Crowley.
Yeah, man.
He was 20 years. The Crowley family is I'm from that part of Queens. They're a powerhouse family. So you have to give her some credit without a doubt. But this piece of legislation, you just have to begin with the question: if the planet's going to end in 12 years because of climate change, then why are we talking about healthcare, housing, jobs, unemployment,
Let's
racism?
have a Mardi Gras, babe.
What does this have
Fat
to do with
Tuesday,
the
Al.
climate?
Come on. Oh, for the next 12 years, that's it. Come on, Norton, get in the bag. Oh, you kidding me? That's a great observation, I mean, and do you acknowledge, though, that climate change? I mean, I'll tell you about this, too. 948 with Joe and Daniel Turner on the radio. Is when I always say this when I'm down the shore, and I saw the oceans getting dirty back in the 70s. They would dump, New York would dump garbage. 100 it's 100 miles out. Like that was it. Then syringes started coming on the shore.
I remember that in Rockaway.
Remember that? So we cleaned that up. So you have to worry about the environment. But the whole climate change thing, why do they have to take it to the degree that they do?
Yeah, it really does become a religion for them. And we all want clean air and clean water. And you're right. I know people who grew up in Pittsburgh who said back in the 70s, you could swipe your finger across the windshield every morning with the amount of dust that was in the air. So we have made great strides, which we should celebrate. But this idea that fossil fuels are somehow destroying the planet and we need to give them up. You know how you know it's not true? Because in their lives, they don't give up fossil fuels. Bernie Sanders spent $300,000 a month on private jets.
That was great.
AOC's campaign records, her finance records were just revealed, and she prefers to take
the SUV,
the SUV, and she prefers to take the flight from to LaGuardia than take Amtrak to Penn Station. I don't blame her. Penn Station is awful. It's a terrible. There's homeless people urinating everywhere. The flight is a lot nicer. But if you really believe that fossil fuels are bad and you want to shove train travel down our throat, why don't you take the train?
Yeah, right on the money. Tell us about Power of the Future. A 501c4 is what? That's a political nonprofit?
So it's a issue advocacy nonprofit. We don't do any electioneering. We don't advocate for any candidate or any piece of legislation, but we just push the issue of protecting the jobs of energy workers because of people like AOC. She will come out and Bernie Sanders will come out and say, wow, this coal mine is bad. We have to shut it down. And when they do, what happens to the 900 guys in this rural part of West Virginia who all lose their jobs and their mortgage is gone and their schools no longer have funding? Those areas in America, you know what they have now? They have opioid overdoses, right? There's a direct link between the opioid crisis and coal towns, oil towns, who lost their ability to have jobs because of environmental radicals like AOC.
Yeah, and if we don't use coal, if we say that's becoming obsolete, and then you go to newer, can you retrain those people? Is there an initiative? That would be nice if we heard there's an initiative to train those folks who, when coal mines shut down, to work with the windmills or whatever else they're using.
And Obama spent hundreds of millions of dollars trying to do that without any success.
Remember that? Yeah. Gosh, you're right.
All these
$500 billion.
Green new jobs that we were going to create. So the Green New Deal says we're going to create all these green jobs. Well, we tried that for 8 years, and what happened because of it? The Green New Deal says we're going to, you just talked with Nan Hayworth, we're going to take care of health care. Well, I thought Obamacare was going to do that. The Green Deal says we're going to have great transportation. Well, look at the subway. Look at Amtrak. If you guys can't do these things now, why do we think you're going to do them in the future?
Yeah. So what is your plan? Tell us what Power of the Future is trying to do.
So a part of my job is to expose the fraud of the Green New Deal, and you do that by showing the hypocrisy, the people who like AOC and Bernie Sanders who use fossil fuels, and also just laying out some facts. People talk about, you don't believe in science because of climate change. Well, you all don't believe in science. There is no solution right now for renewables to power our nation completely. The technology doesn't exist to generate the electricity or to store it. And just look around the studio. Look at the amount of plastics. Look at the amount of petrochemicals that we're using. If we ban fossil fuels, how are we going to do any of it? How are we going to live our lives?
Daniel, I'll tell you, your point is well taken. And Solyndra, that was like a waste of $500 million.
Nothing to show for it.
Yeah, unbelievable. Daniel, thank you. Great to have you with us. Daniel's a conservative activist, founder and executive director of Power the Future. Again, it's a 501c4. Helps to protect America's energy workers. Thank you. Great to have you. Great chat, man.
Always great being here.
All right, my brother. Yeah, stay off those cigarettes for Lent. I think that might be a good idea. Okay, can we do that? Sure. Debbie.